Oh, I'm feeling it today because I got my, I've been yard selling this weekend. And I got my Texas used car dealer salesman outfit on. I got my white straw cowboy hat with, of course, emblazoned with my Mary Jane emblazonment. And then I got my suede sports jacket over my paisley cowboy shirt with the leather vest, and of course, and then I got on a pair of Holy Levi's, nice dark blue. They look brand new except for that hole in the knee there. Oh, and of course, my worn-out old alligator boots, man. Absolutely. You're going to be a used car salesman in West Texas. You've got to have the worn-out alligator boots. And make sure they're worn out, man. You could call them sandals almost. You worn them so out. Well, that's what I do, man, So anyway, that's my West Texas used car salesman. Let me sell you a brand new used car right now, baby. Because I got a deal on this here Porsche Audi Saab over there in the corner that's really a Chevy, but you can't see it that way because if you think of it as a Chevy, it'll break down on you all the time because it's trying to keep up with the Fords these days, fix or repair daily. So what you got to do is raise your sights a little bit and get a Subaru, man. That's what we worship here in Colorado, is the ancient Subaru. They started out as a chariot manufacturer back there in ancient Babylon, and they've been around ever since. Somewhere in the background quite often, because they were an obscure manufacturer for a long time. But they always built a reliable chariot, man, that any horse would be proud to pull, man. Silly things that they are, and there'd be no resistance. That horse take one look at that thing and back right into the staves and say, harness me up, let's rock, man, They're ready to go out there and race the chariot race of life, man, and win it, too. Just like old Patsy Cline. Crazy. Like Willie Nelson wrote that, We don't play that too often because we don't want you getting all soft and sentimental and heavy-duty on a Monday morning, for heck's sakes. It's all about waking you up and getting you rocking. I just wanted you to realize how deeply you really do love this life, man. And the persons in it that are special to you, as well as all the others that show up and hang out and make life colorful for you and keep it interesting. Shoot, what's sugar without a little? What's sweet without a little sour, man? You got to have a little of that, to get that sweetness going. And how? See, you know how to live, don't you? You're figuring it out. See, Koyote will always help you refine your living and become far more classy about it in yourself, far more satisfied with it yourself. It's not what you're conveying to others. You're not on some big egocentric ride. You're on this little ride of being, just happy with what you are, and being okay with that and letting that light shine. And because, creation made you this spectacular person for a reason, man. Whatever it is that you are, you might be the garbage man. Jesus, man, just rock with it, roll with it. Be happy you can haul people's refuse away and do it so colorfully each and every day and make a lot of noise so you keep them, waking up, man. Shit, yeah, man, they're going to throw that garbage at you. You throw a little sonic garbage back at them, too, huh? That's why they make garbage trucks so loud and noisy and drippy and stinky and stuff, because they're just meant to remind people of, you guys are really on an obnoxious, gluttonous trip, aren't you, man? Look at that crap you leave behind, Mama Earth's getting tired of this shit because we're going to change the rules, man. We're doing the whole thing over again, of course, because, shit. I mean, this old way, but, you got to appreciate where you are in it right now if you want to see it change, because that is the change, see? When you find appreciation for what you're doing in this moment, well, shit, the rest of it's easy from there on, man. If you can get along in this world, if you can actually feel okay in yourself, no matter what, look at me now, here with my used car salesman outfit on. I got a yard full of goodies out there that the wind tried to blow away yesterday. It did take some of it. So I got a mess to clean up out there this morning. I had light attendance at the yard sale, but I did move a little bit, but I'm like, wow, a bit overwhelmed with all of that. I mean, this is a lot of stuff out here, that I've accumulated, you know, and I just got to unload it, and but I'm sure the divine angels will provide a way because they like us, you know, and I'll figure this stuff out, you know. I may wind up giving it to the universe in a way, you know, start the energy of the free box going again, but because there's another person with an interest in some of this stuff, I got to talk to that person first before I could do such a thing, but we'll figure it out. But if you want some deals on some magic treasures and some people yesterday, I'm telling you, there is some good mojo out here in this pile out here, just like there is on this radio show day in and day out, Monday through Friday. Little hidden treasures that all of a sudden gleam out at you on a tripping Tuesday or a magic Monday or a free day Friday or a thrilling Thursday or a wowzer Wednesday. We got them all down, man. To tell you the truth, it's always a barefoot cruise. That's why it's so raw and real here, man, you know. We don't have to bother with bathing suits or any kind of accoutrements if we don't feel like it. We're out here sailing on the ocean. There ain't nobody else around, and if they are, too bad. We're partying, baby, see? It's a cruise, man, each and every day here in this spaceship love. Let me take you away and keep you in an attitude like what I got, or better, hopefully better, because I do waver in and out a bit. But, you know, let's just keep it going on, babies. Keep it smooth, you know, sing the song. You know, that's what, when this gust come along and whipped all my shit away yesterday, I just like, oh, fuck, oh, well, there it goes, man, and just let it be, you know, and I'll go straighten it out. Now the wind's died down, the sun's coming up out there, I'll go straighten it out here in a while, and everything will be cool, man, you know. Maybe somebody will come along today and wants to buy the lot of it, say, give me $25 for the whole mess. I say no. I'd rather, unless it's a worthy cause, then I wouldn't care. It's a donation. But, you know, I mean, like I say, there's another party with an interest in some of this stuff because it's, you know, one of my exes, and I got to take care of that. You know, shoot, man, you know, you accumulate in this world more than just possessions, obligations to go with them, and you have to be careful about it. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, you know. Been bad enough that you've been in and out together, and that, you know, and that you had to go your different ways. You don't want to make it any worse than what it is already, you know. You want to remain friends with that person, you know. I mean, that's the way I like to leave it. Doesn't always work that way, but that's the way I like to leave it. Don't you? I mean, if I gotta leave it, I'd rather leave it friendly than I would any other way. And usually it winds up that way no matter what. Sometimes it takes a long time. You know, there's some that probably will be right to the finish line before they figure it out. But what the heck, you know? We all live in a certain space, an attitude of gratitude, one way or another, whether we realize it or not. And therefore, you know, the rules that apply in this world, that you got to do this, you got to do that, and you're bad because you didn't do this, or you did do that, or whatever, you know what I mean? All that chicken shit stuff that tries to redefine us and make us behave in a cockamamie sort of way. Well, you know, it's becoming less and less materially important to us. You notice that? I mean, when you start to feel the rainbows in life all around you, you know, and seeing them then too, man, you know, shoot, what is it, you know, this world just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense anymore, you know. You're living in that magic space. Well, that's why. Because, see, then you apply that magic here, see. And how do you do that, dear? Well, first off, it's the appreciation, the attitude of gratitude, of course. That's what steps you into it, when you realize how good you got it already. Even if you're a hobo bum with a backpack and 2 shirts and a pair of Levi's and that's it, you know. Even if that's your circumstance, you know. You got it all. You got a lot. Look at where you are right now. I mean, it's spectacular country. You're alive. The sun is shining. It's going to be a beautiful day, and wow, you're on your way, see. At that low state of being, at least what some people would consider low, I think that's pretty free right there. See, I don't want to necessarily unload myself down to a backpack again. I have lived that way out of a backpack before. It's a good life to a point. But, you know, but now I got all this accumulation around me, and I don't know what to do with it all, you know. Like I said, I'll make some good deals, and I'll probably just give the rest to a free box reality of some sort or another, provided my ex agrees to all of that, you know. I don't know what else to do with it. I ain't got no place to put it, no place to store it. Said out there in the bright suns, we got to do something, right? See, and this is the kind of stuff I face. About war myself, you wouldn't believe it. Unpacking this stuff, oh my goodness. Wow, it was a job, man. Moving it, etc., but I got it all done somehow, and pretty much I got a little help moving it, of course, thank goodness. But outside of that's pretty much something I've done all by myself, Geez, I'm not as wiry and spryery as I used to be. Geez, Saturday night, I was so wore out, I couldn't even go to the drum circle for the moon dance, shoot, I'd done put it all into the yard sale. But I unloaded a ton of stuff inside of like a day and got it all spread out on a beautiful display before the wind come along and took some of it away. But anyway, lots of, a little bit of heavy furniture too. I had to move around all by my little self. You get creative in times like that. But you also start to notice that, man, there's a reason why you retired. You're getting lazy, old man. You don't want to do this stuff anymore. I've done a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of heavy moving in my time. I'm telling you, you wouldn't believe some of the loads I've carried. And besides the people I've helped out in my life, besides myself moving around every now and then, you know what I mean? Holy cow. I'm glad I'm actually to a point in my life where I can lighten up and don't need so much. What we do need, though, and we've talked about it before, is this magic bus, man. We can put this little radio station in there. We can take it anywhere we want in the world where there's a connection of one sort or another that we can get on the internet, and we can broadcast from anywhere. And we can put a low power, like a walkie-talkie style FM in that thing, and people for a short distance around us be able to pick it up on their car radio, etc. It'd be a nice little promotional vehicle. Plus, we could, broadcast. We could take some people along and, go broadcast from some of the magic spots out here in the Red Rock lands and so forth. We could make a fun little vessel out of something like that. That's provided, we don't get our spaceships back sooner than that. I reckon that'll come along too. But if we had a bus like that, I reckon it'd turn into a spaceship after a while. It'd have to. There'd be so many good times there. But it'd be a way for me to, I'm way out here on the edge of reality in this place where I am. And this is why my yard sale's been a little light. Because, wow, we're like, out here in the frontier, man. There's rattlesnakes and shit, That's why I played the good, bad, and the ugly. You hear that song playing as you come down that gravel road towards my house. I can't do it very well, but you got the idea of it, man. And you almost see Lee Van Cleef standing there leering at you with his hand on his 6 gun, man. He's just waiting for you to bat an eyeball, so he's got an excuse, But, if you got the juice and you got the mojo on, shoot, Lee's not gonna bother. He just likes to look mean. He ain't gonna shoot nobody. Shoot, he's a baby, man. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, no, I've seen him kill flies, but outside of that, with a 6 gun. He's so bad. So are you, baby. It's bad that you got such a badass good heart, eh? Yeah, a good heart with a badass attitude. Hey, there's nothing better than that in this reality. That's Koyote Medicine through and through. And that'll always get you through. A good heart with a bad attitude, man. You don't take shit from nobody. You give good shit to everybody, and you leave behind you a fertile field of blossoming flowers everywhere you go. That's the life you live from here on out, don't you know? That's what you're called to, baby. And you can't do it any other way. I don't give a shit what you think, man. That's just the way it is. It's magic on a Monday, see? Oh, my God, we're getting forceful here. Oh, Grandpa, just messing with you a bit. But that's your job here, to enjoy life. And if you don't know how yet, to let yourself find out how to really enjoy life and be okay with what's happening, whatever it is. And not to get off on it like some silly school kid, that don't know shit from Shino. You've been around longer than that. You don't need that crap. You get off on your heart, man. And let it take you to these magic places where the magic really comes to life. You can't play those old games anymore with yourself or anybody else, because they just won't frickin' work anyway, man. But, you know, just recognize you should be into that, and then you can move on from it pretty simply, you know. The whole thing changes. I know I go through these formulas myself in my own way, you know. Been really, this weekend, as you can tell, has been quite expansive, and it's going to continue to be so, I reckon, for all of us, don't you know? The more medicine we get, the more rock is in our roll, the more roll is in our heart and soul, rocking with it, don't you know? And we got it all put back together, and all the bad medicine is suddenly good. I mean, you know, and there ain't no bad medicine anymore. It's like the return of the white buffalo calf woman and Buddha and Jeremiah Johnson and everybody all at the same time, and all assembling up there in Wyoming around Fort Laramie for the greatest peace confab there ever was. The party of all the centuries and generations, man. And I mean, there's even Romans and Babylonians and Atlanteans, Lemurians and, you know, Orinians and Syrians, and we don't let the Pleiadians in, though. They got to wait their turn, man. Got to have a little of that going on, don't we? Nah, they're welcome too, baby. Everybody's rocking. I don't care what side of the walk we've been walking on, man. You know, what we're walking on now is the together path of love. It's all coming back to life inside because we decided to take a magic carpet ride with some scrawny old man out there in the wilderness, you know, that says, help me get this bus, guys. Get over to Dream Central on thecoyoteclub.com and add your energy to it. I'm going to reduce that thing down to one pleasant little wish, and then all the rest of this shit will happen. Instead of going like to the wishing well and saying, okay, I want a car and a color TV, you just go to the well and say, I just want good things to be happening here for everybody, starting with me, so I got a lot to share. You know, and that would work, man, you know, because you're blessing everybody. You're not wishing for anything. You're blessing everyone. You're saying, I wish I had enough to do that with, you know, and there it is, you know. That's the kind of wishing well. It's the kind of magic we commit on a Monday. You don't even have to toss in a penny or a quarter or a nickel or a dime or nothing. You just stand there at the wishing well and realize it's your heart, and it wants you to have it, and you don't have to pay for it. You've been paying far too long and thinking in them terms far too long. Now you got to get out of the payer attitude, you know. You're not in debt anymore. You're free of all that debt quite naturally. You got to see what's really going on inside, how alive you are, and how magic you really can be. This is when we set ourselves free, because then nothing is in our way. You know, now, you know, I may not be living the smoothest life ever, but I am. It's amazing. Despite all these apparent worldly difficulties, it's going one step at a time, and it's happening just the way it needs to happen. And I'm getting the exercise I need because I've been so sedentary and doing this radio show and working on the internet all the time, don't you know? I get a little bit too hemmed in here, man. I have to get out. So good thing to have a yard sale every now and then. And if you want a deal on a new used car, well, come on, see me here, folks, down here at West Texas Chevrolet and Plymouth Dodge, okay? Got a deal on a Chrysler Imperial for you today, man. A 67 made in heaven, man. Just driven by a little old lady to the poker games and the crap shoots every now and then. I think your mother's second cousin actually owned it when it was new, but that was like 3 owners ago. You know, who knows what that little old lady really did with it. She might have been drag stripping with the kids on Saturday nights for all I know. She was a little hairbally like that. But it's still a fun car, and if she didn't wear it out, man, she maintained this thing. She had top-notch mechanics and shit, you know. Boy, my good, I could sell you a refrigerator and tell you it was a car, huh? No. I couldn't do that because I couldn't live with myself, but I can sure tell the story. That's what I like about yard selling. Everything out there has got a story to it, you know. Well, I don't do it all the time, but, you know, somebody looks like they might be in a receptive mode. Well, let me tell you the story behind that one. And I just kind of wade into it. It's always brief, though. You know how I am. I'm not very long-winded at all. You know, I can't roll on and on for hours. I get it over and across inside of, 35 hours or so, don't I? Succinct and to the point in a very indirect way, eh? Rock candy all the way. That's what you get here each and every day with Grandpa would just say. See, just flow with it. That's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Just flow with it, you know, whatever it is, whatever difficulties may be trying to consume you. Don't get lost in a pool of worry about it. Just go with the flow of it, you know. Things will work out magically if you just let them. We have to stand back a little bit. Get the will out of it so the will of the heart can move in, you see. So what we're doing is transforming the will or the ego or whatever you want to call it. It's just changing an attitude, you know, get some gratitude going on and then don't have to worry about shit anymore because it's happy where it's at. Not always trying to create another future for itself because it ain't happy. It's satisfied. It's content. And this changes the behavior of this is how we unify our elements when we find that satisfaction. Deep inside, all the way through our root and down through our little hide, through our feet, and back up through the reality and around and cycling right back through us again, man. You know, it's a constant circle of love, ever expansive and growing. The more we live in it, the better it is for everybody, because there's less tension in the world then. And when there's less tension, that means others can settle, have a little more room to settle into that contented place, to recognize that it is, and that they are quite grateful for what they have. Each and every one of us. It's not they, it's us. It's together, it's all of us. You know, if one feels that, others are infected by it, and then others, it's worse than any disease or illness that ever rolled through humanity, including the bubonic plague, man. And the Black Plague, you know, you got to remember, we're far more strong than that. No matter what kind of rip-offs they're trying to pull on us now, they is us, and therefore we neutralize the tide. Everything's a blessing of love when it comes our way. And this you want to remember on this Magic Monday, because this is where your magic empowerment is. And this is where you transform things like poisonous chemtrails into magical little blessings. Same with plutoniums and radiations that are leaking out of the power plants and stuff. Don't you know it's the end of the world? Well, it is. It's the end of that ride where there's danger. It's when you realize that you're fully empowered in this love and heart. It's crazy, but it's so damn cool. So blessedly so. Because you take on things like radiations that would normally warp us and mutate us into a genetic pile of sludge and kill us off kind of slowly. Oh, shit. That's the old way. What's the rolling way? What's the rocking way? You see love in those clouds of radiation coming your way. You see love in the oceans. You see love in it all. You see life transforming itself. It's time for a return to the light, the enlightened side of life, and quit denying that it's there all the time and that we're living in it, you know. And maybe this radiation that's coming our way is a way to radiate ourselves back into our reality. Maybe it's a blessing. Maybe it's a gateway, an energetic shift that instead of being deadly to us is deadly to the old reality that created such shit, and transforms it because of it. Maybe this is how the Koyote medicine works in this reality. Maybe this is why you're finding out your magic on a Monday morning, eh? I hope you feel that flow underway, because that's what we do, baby. If you got the attitude of gratitude, you got the magic. You got the rock in your sock, you got the roll in your soul, and your heart is just demonstrative, don't you know, of the most gracious and great love there could ever be. Knows how to neutralize toxicity inside of you and everywhere else, too. Heck, just by being happy about it. Seeing through the bullshit lie of it. Because when you're content, you can't be made malcontent again. See, it's a steady place. It's the rock of the rock and roll, you know. It's where you settle in, heart and soul, and everything just works from there. You see, steady, steady, steady like a rock. You see, that's the solidarity, the density that the reptilian energies have brought into this reality, and that's the blessing in those. See, we don't have to use it so discreatively or fight at it anymore. Just let that secure love settle into that energy and root you down, man, and you're there rock steady forever. And then you can roll with it and rock and roll with it and rock and roll with it, you know. Where's my cheerleaders? I need some cheerleaders, babies. You girls are just being lazy out there. I want some cheerleaders here, darn it. Oh, I don't know what I don't know. I really could. It'd be nice to have like 3 or 4 cheerleaders, you know, in their little pom-pom outfits to follow you around and cheer every time you say something interesting. Wouldn't that be, well, I don't know. Well, how about once in a while, on weekends, you know, Saturdays and Sundays, we could do that. Yeah, like football game on the weekends. I get my cheerleaders on the weekends. Okay, there's another on the wish list. Grandpa there goes denying his own magic already. Oh, shoot, you know, if I really wanted to scuttle at cheerleaders, I wouldn't take anything to hustle them up now, would it? You know? It's all in what you really want. Sometimes you just like to talk, you know, just to keep people interested and entertained in life. And other times you put some substance behind your talk and you say, let's make this one come real. You see? That's what we're feeling today, see? And that's how you feel, and it's all in how you feel. And that's where the magic is. And that's when crazy old lives like mine start to get powerful. No matter how amazingly difficult they may be at times, they're not difficult at all. You just flow through it, man, and you just go to it and you do what you got to do. And you do it out of an attitude of gratitude. And because you do, things work out. Sometimes it might take a little time. You got to learn patience, too. And learn is probably the really incorrect word. What we do is we inhabit patience and let it inhabit us. You see, that's what the seasoning is. Well, I mean, there's not much room for it anymore because things are so accelerated now. It's changing fast, but there's still room for patience, baby. Good loving takes time. It's not something you fall right into. There'll be a suggestion of it there, but as you well know, good loving takes time. You know, the spirits and energies involved have to acclimate themselves into it, and they do so gently because we're such beneath the surfaces where we've been. In the reality where we live, we're really, really sensitive beings, and we really spectacularly care for one another, and we see the amazing gift that each person is here. And it's a little overwhelming at times to the childlike side that can see so much of it, to be engaging in those ways, those loving ways. And so it likes to hold itself back and just go there a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. You know, and most people just don't have the time for that in today's journey. They want it all and they want it right now. And so they miss it. You know, but that's what life's been doing too. It's been developing us through the same kind of process, a little bit more closely as a human race, united with our mother, this earth and the sky, Father Sky that surrounds us. You need the symbology, there it is. Okay. But little by little, we finally are getting to that point where the good loving of humanity is coming back to life. Pieces of the puzzle been put together through all the generations, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And we just get it all back together, man. 'Cause that's what we're here to be. Yeah, see, and we've been doing it all along. Didn't even see it most of the time, but now we do. Looking back's easy. Looking right now, well, then it all makes sense. Because we're here in this place where we always needed to be, and we're finally coming back to life in it. Pure magic, baby, pure magic. Life without rules and regulations. Now, I know some of you just saw a horrible vision of Mad Max and total insanity going on. I don't know if the rest of you saw a vision of happy, sweet people lying in the sun, regenerating each and every one and having a God-blessed great time doing it. I mean, and there's like milk and honey and champagne everywhere. I mean, it's just whatever you want. There it is. I mean, you know, it is. The elegant, compassionate, easygoing life that all us rock and rollers always wanted to have for ourselves, you know. Then we wouldn't have to tear down hotel walls and stuff anymore. We could just be like, you know, happy. Well, there you go, baby. It's a nice little recipe, a little coyote formula there. If you kind of meander around in that last little bit of rapage, you'll find the solving energy, the resolving energy, the gift of love, the magic that we share every day. But on a Magic Monday, you're getting a lot of it today, ain't you? And a lot more to come your way. You just be rocking with it, be rolling with it, be the rock inside. Honor all forms of life and expressions within as well as about yourself. And you'll find a way to get along with all of it. I'm working on that one too, man. But it's even easier when you realize for the most part you have gotten along with it. You just didn't recognize it because you took it as an everyday thing. And now you know, see. And there's very little conflict here, really. What little you have to deal with is just pretty simple, pretty cut and dry if you look at it. The heart knows already, man. See, the flow's already gone past you. Don't hang on to the past. Stay here. Be in this moment at last. Because this is where life goes really, really fast, but ooh, pleasantly so. And then you don't feel the speed anymore. It's just like time travel in a spaceship love, man. You just sit down and all of a sudden you're there. You don't even know you've moved. Don't seem like it's been a second or two, you know. And it might have been, you know, 3,000 centuries you just traveled, let alone a whole bunch of light years and stuff. You know, there's no real measurement here because there's no real division of life. Hey, and we'll get that one clear as we continue on this Magic Monday on the Koyote Medicine Show. Where else but the ever-loving, sweethearted center of your universal heart and conscious presence, too. The Hazy Radio Network, man, with Grandpa Koyote and friends early in the day. Yeah, that old world fading away so fast is like a shockwave. One moment it's there and the next moment it's not. And there you are like free falling and just falling to pieces, yet coming back together strangely, a whole reassemblage of our integral person. You see, all the pieces we thought we had also figured out and assembled correctly, just floating around us as we fall through the realities, man. Yeah, and you know, part of you says, oh God, you're gonna die. I say, damn right, man. Screw that. That was fun, but this is the one. This is the reassemblage, the way we want it done. So you just let yourself fly. You float. You're okay. It all just kind of comes apart, you know, into tiny little pieces and right back together again. You're in a cycle of flow, of reassemblage, don't you know? Yeah, see, your cosmic heart now is allowed to remake you on this side of the 3D. Which, of course, as Oki reminds us here, my little assistant DJ, Oki Wan Kenobi, puts you right out of the 3D and get you living multi-dimensionally like a dog does or a horsey does. Or most of the animal kingdom does one way or another, even the reptilians, man. Their tiny little brains are some of the greatest dream machines ever to be, man, I'm telling you. All life is active and in motion. No matter what it looks like here on the surface of things, man, you know. You might see no spiky horny toad sitting on a rock out there by a blossoming daffodil in the middle of the desert, the only daffodil there, man, for 150 miles. But there's that horny toad and that daffodil together in a constant state of divine communion. One creates the other, and both live in defiance of the sun, because it's pretty harsh there and dry and hotter than hell, man. And they're saying, no, we don't feel that. We only feel what's real here, baby. It's the dream of life enjoying itself even in such sparse places as this, because this is rich as all get out. So see, now there's the living metaphor of it once again, see. Appreciating that little divine little perch you got there in the middle of nowhere, and the daffodil that blossoms beside you, and the sweet little doggy that sits in your lap and is so obsessed with having to express the love of life the same way that horny toad and that daffodil do out there in the middle of nowhere. See, life is sweet when you let it be, and it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be a trail ride thing. It don't have to be a cribbage club. It don't have to be nothing. Just be what it is right now, and it's cool. And how? Because there's a flow in it and a glow in it and a lot of love, too. No matter how empty your presence might have felt a moment ago, it don't anymore, now does it? Just allow you, don't get on the computer, boy. Just allow yourself to flow. He wants to get his little nose up there on that keyboard and type out some messages to you. He's an ambitious little boy today for an Okie, you know. Gosh. To Obi-Wan Kenobi, by the way, for those of you who don't know him, the wisest dog in the whole dang universe, ain't you, darling? You betcha. One of the sweetest, too, man. I'll tell you what, a heart of gold, if ever there was one. You know, he walks around with me out there in that yard sale, and he gets in every picture I took to put up on the internet just so he could shine for you, babies. That's how much he loves you, you know. And you think he's here for you, well, gee whiz. The countdown's on. How about you, baby? You coming back together? You know, this is takeoff. This is the launch of the spaceship love. This is the time of the existential reality stepping into the being presence of your love. Yeah. Well, all of us, I mean, we're together in this. Don't worry about it. Nobody expects you to doggy paddle alone out there anymore. You may have done pretty good at it, and we're proud of you for it. But get your ass over here on the boat and let's go barefoot. Man, we're cruising the planet Bimini this time, man. We got the sloop John B, and it's recovered, don't you see? And it's hauling, you know, bonkers for you and me to get us to a new existential reality, which is the same one that you see, only a little bit more well-defined, wouldn't you say? Ooh, as the light of day refines it away, oh yeah, coming from inside this life. It's a very different thing than when it just shines in the sky. Now it shines all across the sky. We become the blue star together with this earth and the sun. We're becoming one. So look, I apologize for it being a bit freaky here in this reality, man. It sucks that there should be anything that would feed your fears, but there's a lot of it out there, and the polar ice caps melting away, and Greenland's starting to disappear, etc. I wonder what Iceland will be. Man, it'll probably be a beachfront paradise here pretty soon. But I tell you, baby, just, you know, let this stuff take its natural flow. And I know, like, the sun and the stars aren't quite in the right position anymore. Again, you know, it's things are really changing, but it's going back to its natural state of being. So what you're seeing in the physicality is a readjustment of reality, of alignments. You see, so the perception will be greatly changed. So what we see now is a physical threat to our reality. Well, we all know that New York and D.C. should have been underwater a long time ago, but we're not mean. So we're going to do it in a way that, you know, won't freak you out, babies. Just relax. Everything's going to be okay. Stay in the flow of what you are right now. Don't let the outside world baffle you. Let it amaze you, babies. We're seeing some of the great, you know, our ancestors rolling over in their graves and cheering. Because we live in a day where we get to watch this shit happen as we create it together. A unified family. It ain't just humanity. We're with all this life. The dogs, the horses, the cattle, the birds, the bees, the trees. All of it, man. We're making this thing as a singular presence. A conscious, happy creation. Inside of its ever-loving bosom of love, creating ever more, man. Because that's what we like to be and do. We like it to take on variety. We like it to have sugar and spice and everything nice. And we even like a nightmare once in a while if it ain't too freaky, you know. Gives us motivation to stay away from that kind of shit, you know. I mean, till you fell face first on it, you really can't appreciate the refinement of cow shit in this reality. You know, until you got down there and fell in it and wallered in it a little bit, you really don't know. My mother got that early on in her life. You know, her daddy was running this little ranch, kind of like what I did later on. But anyway, her daddy's running this little ranch way up there in the mountains in Utah, man. It's really remote. And she's a little 7, 8-year-old girl out there running around the cow pasture collecting daisies and shit, you know. I mean, just a happy little girl in the country set free, man. I mean, this is like paradise, but it does have its elements you have to watch out for, you know. One of them is a little snake in the grass that bit her on the ankle, and pretty soon her ankle's all swole up, you know. Well, in the ways of traditional medicine, I mean, you know, there ain't a doctor for 300 miles, man. You know, probably Salt Lake City's the nearest one, and that's like, well, was it 300? It's 300 miles away. It's quite a ways. This was up in Camas, an area called Camas, Kamas. These days, now it's a great big thriving metropolis. Geez, I can't believe what happened to that remote country. Breaks my heart. That's why I don't go back there too often. I just can't take it, you know. Not that kind of thing. It's to see urban sprawl in places where my mother grew up. You know, and when it was really, really remote, I mean, there wasn't a doctor for 200 miles, let's say, let's be generous. But anyway, you know, so what do? You know, you get bit by a little garden snake or something, and, you know, your ankle swells up, you got some kind of blood poison going on. Well, Grandma hands the kid a clean bucket and says, here, go follow old Bessie around there for a bit, and when she takes a poop, you grab some of it. You get that bucket about half full. Try not to get it on you, but, you know, you do what you can. It's pretty messy business. But, you know, Bessie's tame enough to allow you to do that. She's your milk cow. You milk her morning and night, or somebody does, you know, and anyway, there you go. And then when you get that collected up, you go sit on this stump out here in the front yard, and you stick your foot in that medicine in that bucket for 10, 15 minutes while it's still hot and fresh. And that'll suck the poison out of your wound, and you'll be all right. And by golly, like magic, it does. And that's the old time. That's 100 and something years ago, you know. I mean, how old would Mama be? It's 100 years ago anyway, you know. And, you know, I mean, look how much things have changed. Nowadays, you got to go get a shot full of antibiotics and who knows what kind of programming and shit. I never have trusted those doctors. I've watched them kill off far too many of my friends and relatives prematurely, you know. Well, they probably would have been better off just suffering through whatever they had and taking the licks, you know, and maybe getting some good morphine to medicate the pain or something. But no, man, you know. So I really have been kind of cautious about my association with the medical profession in my time because I've just seen so much of it. And it isn't that I wouldn't do that when I had to, I have. But basically I tried to avoid those people as much as possible, you know. I just knew we were more magic than that, even though I wasn't always so empowered as to be able to heal it. And even now I have to work on some things will come along, just bite me on the fanny, Granny, and there's a whole new combination to deal with. But it's all valuable in the experience of the growth of the heart. And if you got a wound on the outside, you probably got one on the inside too, and it's time to embrace it. And just love it for being there and let go of the effect of it, for heck's sake. You lived in it long enough. You more than paid your toke a long time ago, you know. It's a medicine flow. It's a medicine show. You're worthy in it, you know, and the healing's natural. It might be something as grotesque as going and collecting fresh cow poop, but baby, it works. You don't argue with success. You accept it. You live in what the magic that nature gives you. You know, there's reasons why we have to turn to the material way at times, you know, to get rebonded. So we'll get a little snake bite on the ankle that gets all swole up, so that we have to go back to nature and accept her solution, her magic. It's part of our grounding in the 3D. I'm sure for my mother that was a very valuable experience because she told that story for a number of years. I mean, you know, it was an impacting moment. But it's also a suggestion of the natural way, that in nature is the magic we're looking for. And if we just allow our eyes to see it, the seasons of all of our ancestors, all of their wisdom and awareness will come through us. And we'd be guided like little puppy dogs right to the most blessed little bone there could ever be to chew on, etc. You understand? The gift of goodness, all that we ever desire in our simple heart comes our way that way. Pure magic when we allow creation to create for us through the appreciative love of an overabundant heart. Some of you may wrestle with this one for a bit, but if you do, you do. It's how you want to get to it. It's okay. There's no judgment in any of it. Just, how much you want in your own realm or not, well, whatever. You might have to, if you're going to work through it that way, you might have to isolate for a little bit, wouldn't you say? No sense lashing out, and being a pout. Go pout by yourself. Pity parties are fun when they're done as one, which is, all the shit you got to deal with, too. But sometimes nature will help you even there. She's got a bucket of magic for you out there somewhere. And you may not have to put your foot in, and you may not have to go collect it or nothing. Maybe a completely different paradigm. Maybe just giving yourself a chance to breathe a little bit of that natural air and soak up a little bit of that normal sunshine and see the blessings all around you so you can bless things for being, and let go. You can find the magic, you see, in your life that conforms anything toxic into a harmonic part of our reality, so there is no toxicity anymore. It's kind of like the metaphor we talked about a while back, throwing Mary Jane love bombs at those chemtrail planes as they go by and getting all the crew high and happy, and all that they will spray is goodness and mercy and light and love in the form of Mary J. They're all token down and blowing it down the exit tubes, That's a big toke. Better have some major spliffs there, baby. But that's essentially the way it be. If you take it as magic, it is. If you take it as a blessing, you transform the energy of that blessing into the blessing that it is. This is the lesson of the harsh shit in this reality that seems to be coming our way with great fatality. It's seeing through the unwise side of that, the fear that says, oh, I'm going to die. And says, this is life. This is re-energization. This is the resurrection of my heart and soul, don't you know? This is party time in old Mexico, down there in the Baja, when Cabo was a lot of fun and still is if you got the right attitude. You see what I mean? You can go anywhere in this world, hell, even Calcutta, and have a great time and be surrounded by nothing but love and luxury when you're in love with life. And it don't take money to do it. It just takes a sweet attitude, man. People are drawn to that, and they can't help themselves. Because they need that in themselves, too. They need that in their life, too. If you show it to them, hell, maybe they'll allow it for themselves. Maybe they'll finally give up the generational traditions that say, torment yourself with this shit, and don't you dare ever let it go. Let it wear you right back into the ground like the rest of it. So you don't want to live like that, do you? You don't want to die like that. That is death. But it's living, too. Because when you die, you come right back to life, of course. Of course. That's what Oki says. He's getting restless. So, babies, you keep it underway. Stay in this flow. Stand back, don't you know, and watch it happen. And know it is you doing it. It's your creative heart. But see, it just flows through. It's magic. On a Monday morning, can you imagine, babies? Magic. We're all going on a barefoot cruise. Yes, indeed. That's what we do here, man. Ooh, wow, I tell you. And how. I think this is a glittery little golden sloop of love, too, man. I tell you. Clink, clink, clink all the way around. It's a champagne glass in my coffee mug this morning. The Holy Grail without fail. I'm drinking out of your golden slipper now on that barefoot cruise, babies. And how. The medicine of your morning, babies, get you warming up and partying down in that heartfelt celebratory, centered sort of way. Mother love. Let her out to play, will you? Ooh, right now, yeah. What did you say?
I wish I was safe.